You know that feeling when everything is finally in its place? When the room goes quiet, not because the world stopped, but because something inside you did. Your shoulders relax. Your breath deepens. For a moment, life feels manageable. If you love organizing your home not casually but deeply, almost emotionally, this isn't about being neat or productive. It's about something much more intimate. Something most people never see. People often joke about it. They call you obsessive, controlling, or overly particular. They think it's about aesthetics or perfection. But the truth lives beneath the surface, in places psychology doesn't always explain clearly. Because for people who love organizing their home, order isn't just visual. It's emotional. It's neurological. It's survival. At a brain level, organizing creates predictability. And predictability calms the nervous system. Your mind is constantly scanning for threat, chaos, and uncertainty. When your environment feels cluttered, your brain reads it as unfinished business. Cognitive load increases. Stress hormones quietly rise. But when you organize, when you give everything a place, your brain gets a signal. We are safe right now. This is why organizing can feel addictive in the best and worst ways. Dopamine isn't only released when something is exciting, it's released when something makes sense. When you complete a task, restore order, or bring clarity to chaos, your brain rewards you. For people who love organizing, that reward feels grounding, almost soothing. Like coming home to yourself, often this love for organization begins early. Maybe you grew up in unpredictability, emotional chaos, inconsistent routines. Or maybe you were surrounded by noise arguments, expectations, pressure. When the world around you felt unstable, your inner world learned to seek control wherever it could. And control, when used gently, became comfort. So you organized. Your room, your desk, your schedule. Not because you needed things to be perfect, but because order gave you something solid to stand on. Something that didn't shift when emotions did. There's also an emotional intelligence hidden in this behavior. People who love organizing tend to notice details others miss. You see patterns. You feel imbalance before it becomes visible. Clutter doesn't just annoy you, it overwhelms you. Not because you're fragile, but because your mind processes information deeply. Visual noise becomes mental noise. Organizing quiets that internal static. But here's where society misunderstands you. They think you're trying to control everything. What they don't see is how much you're trying to calm yourself. Organization is often a language of self-regulation. When your inner world feels heavy, your hands move. You fold, you sort, you align. It's not avoidance, it's grounding. For many people who love organizing, your home becomes an external reflection of their internal world. When things are in place, emotions feel more manageable. When things are scattered, feelings spill over. It's not about impressing others. It's about staying emotionally upright. Yet there's a quiet vulnerability beneath this love for order. Sometimes organizing isn't just about commits, about preventing overwhelm before it arrives. It's a way to stay ahead of chaos. And when life throws uncertainty your way, you may find yourself organizing harder, faster, more intensely. As if order could protect you from the unknown. This is where the shadow appears. When organization becomes the only way you feel okay, it can turn rigid. You may feel anxious when things are out of place, irritated when others disrupt your system, restless when mess lingers too long. What once brought peace can start demanding it. Not because you're controlling, but because your nervous system has learned to rely on order as safety. Psychologically, this is a form of coping. A smart one, honestly. But coping mechanisms, even healthy ones, can become limiting when they're the only tool we use. If disorder feels threatening, it may not be the mess you're reacting to it. Maybe the emotions it reminds you of. The unpredictability. The lack of control. The fear that if things fall apart outside, they might fall apart inside too. Still, there is something deeply beautiful about people who love organizing their home. You care about creating spaces that feel intentional. You understand that environments shape emotions. You know that peace isn't accidental, it's built. And in a chaotic world, that's a rare skill. People like you often carry more than they show. You hold responsibilities quietly. You think ahead. You anticipate needs. You create order not just for yourself, but for others. Even if no one thanks you, even if no one notices, but sometimes that caretaking turns inward and becomes pressure. The belief that if you keep everything together, nothing will fall apart. That if you stay organized enough, life will behave. And that's a heavy burden to carry alone. Here's the truth most people never tell you. It's okay if things are messy sometimes. Not just physically, but emotionally. Disorganization doesn't mean failure. It means you're human. And learning to tolerate a little mess without rushing to fix it can be an act of healing. Healthy organization feels calm. Unhealthy organization feels urgent. One comes from choice. The other comes from fear. And the difference isn't always obvious until you slow down enough to feel it. You don't need to stop loving order. You don't need to change who you are. But you might need to ask yourself why it matters so much. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. What does order give you emotionally? What does disorder take away? People who love organizing their home often have big inner worlds, sensitive systems, deep care. You notice what others overlook. And when you create order, you're not just cleaning, you're creating a sense of meaning in a world that often feels overwhelming. The healthiest version of you isn't someone who keeps everything perfect. It's someone who knows when to organize and when to rest, when to control and when to allow, when to fix and when to simply sit with what is yours. Your home doesn't have to be flawless to be safe. You don't have to hold everything together to be worthy. And peace doesn't disappear the moment something is out of place. So tonight, as you straighten a shelf or align a drawer, pause for just a second. Ask yourself this gently. Are you organizing because it brings you joy? Or because it helps you feel okay? And if it's the second one, what else might help you feel safe without needing everything to be perfect? Your call to action isn't to let go of order. It's to let order serve you, not control you. To remember that even in a little mess, you are still whole.